I want to tell you, this is going to be a two-part episode here because it's going to have a lot of things that happened in the past with my bus driver. Now, boys and girls, you thought you had a mean bus driver. You haven't dealt with my bus driver. And as a matter of fact, I just checked on her and she is still around. So, I have to tell you, let's go way back then when I was in kindergarten, just starting. I get a knock on the door, open the door. It was this woman, salt, pepper hair, glasses, and her hands were little old hands. They look like a wicked old witch's hands. But anyways, my mother comes out to the door and said, "Hello, who are you?" The bus driver says this to me, to her. "My name is Mrs. Kronwitter. I will be this boy's bus driver." I'm like, "Oh, she seemed nice. I want to tell you some rules that you need to obey. Okay, kid? You will make my life easier. So I'm going to give you a list of rules for you." And she hands my mom a big old rule book. This book was had to be that thick of bus rules that she wanted cooperation. So it was time. It was the first day of school. And we start by having my parents wait outside for me. And why we had that first time on my bus. Oh, that's so exciting when you're little. You're ready to start school. First time, first day. Isn't it great? Ready to ride that bus? Well, I have to tell you, I started right there, and the bus was coming, and I had my happy face on like this, and getting excited and ready for the bus. And she stops the bus, opens the door, and I get up those 2 steps, and I wave at my parents, "Bye," and the bus driver goes like this, "Bye." So she shuts the door, and she turns me around and says, "All right, you little punk, I'm gonna tell you something right now. I don't tolerate a lot of crap on my bus. You got that? Okay? You are 9A, not 9B. 9B is the window. 9A is the aisle. You are to sit at 9A. Got that? Get over there now, because you are wasting my time with the bus standing here, and I have to get to the high school at 7:45 a.m. So sit down." I was just in shock. I didn't know what to do, and I was little, and I had no idea what kind of bus driver this is. So I sit down in my seat, and some of the other kids, middle school kids at that time, said, "Boy, you're going to really enjoy this bus driver." And all of a sudden, while they were talking, she said this, "I hear talking. There is talking on my bus. There is talking on my bus. Quiet!" So that was my first day. A little later in life, I would say 4th grade, something like that, 4th or 3rd grade. I get a guy on the bus who will be my new partner with my seat. This time I had to sit in 2A, right close to Mrs. Kronwitter. And it was report card time, and this guy named Kyle was happy, and he got on before me. and set his report card right on the seat. And I get on happy. It's great. Sit down, and I'll suddenly sit down on his report card. And he goes, "Oh man, you sat on my report card." "Oh, sorry about that." Mrs. Kronwitter gets up. "Did you sit on his report card? Did you sit on his report card?" Yeah, I'm going to have to turn you into the principal because that is vandalism. Your butt touches report card. That is vandalism to personal property. You get reported in. And for mouthing back to me. So guess what? I had to see the principal the next day. "Did you vandalize the guy's report card?" "I just sat on it accidentally," is all I said. "I just sat on it accidentally." And he's like this, "Well, that's just wrong." "Well, what you do when you sit on it accidentally? It's not like I purposely put the report card there and sat on it." "Well, I'm going to let you go for right now. Thank you. Thank you very much." So he let me go, thank goodness. Mrs. Kronwitter, I get back on the bus. Mrs. Kronwitter was like this, "So did you get your butt paddled?" "No, he let me go because I said I accidentally sat on it." You just did vandalism. Yeah, and then you lied. What is wrong with you?" Wow. And back then, you can't go and report something happening when the bus driver was going nuts. And I was like, man, a living. So, sometime again, there was this hard rain that we got back then, and there's this one road that got flooded. And she had to drop somebody off at the top of the hill going home from school. Well, there was water, and she stops the bus. And some of the high schoolers back then said, "Uh-oh, Mrs. Kronwitter, you got a flood problem." And she gets up and says, "Ain't no water gonna stop me. Oh no, nothing's stopping my route. You got that? Sit down, everybody. We're going through." And I'm like this, woo! And sure enough, we go right through the flooded part of the road. And you can see the water getting above the door level there on the first step. And a little on the second step. So it was a deep area. And she's like this, "And no water gonna stop me in my route. Oh no! Oh no! It ain't gonna stop me." And she drove right through it. And it went right through the water. Most bus drivers would turn around and say, "Oh, well, the road's flooded. Let's turn around and go the other way." No, not this bus driver. It was, we're gonna drive right through. Drive right through. And it's like, man, a living. I tell you, she was a strange bus driver. One time she got mad, and there was this guy named Adam, and he was mouthing her, "I'm going to turn you into the principal. I'm going to turn this bus around if you don't stop and be quiet." Well, a woman in the background did this. "Okay, that's it. This bus is going to be turned around right now, and we're going to get the principal, Mr. Hodges, right on this school bus. You got that? I'm going to send that principal on this school bus. Maybe I'll paddle some asses." I was like, man, this bus driver is out of control. Woo-wee. Well, she turns the bus around, and we start heading towards the school again. Ugh, I hated that part. Going back, it's like I want to go home. I want to be free, especially from that bus driver. Woo-wee.